Daniel Iversen is the best goalkeeper in this league. No doubt about it, say Preston fans. Of course, that save against Bristol City heralding him as, the best shot stopper we have. Hope you're all well. Welcome back to Where the Gentry Walk. It's 20 minutes of PNE chat. Very clearly this week we've got three debates. Number one, is he the best goalkeeper in the league? We're also talking about the fixture computer being biased against North End. More on that in a minute. And should 8th place get playoffs? The EFL want to change it to help Preston get into the Premier League. Or is it just rubbish for football? Plus, we're also, at the end of the video, starting our A to Z of Preston North End. Who gets in for you under the letter A if we were to allow every player, every manager, every owner from history who's made the most significant contribution to Preston North End? We asked AI this, and it came up with this fella. Hopefully Harvey and Joey might be able to do a little bit better. Hope you're doing well. Lots of football to talk about this week, so we're not going to get too much into the Bristol City game. By the time you're watching this, of course, it'll already be midweek. Harvey, is your goalkeeper one of the best in the division?
There's an argument there for it, isn't there? I think it's a case of in terms of what, in terms of ability, like in terms of shot stopping for me, I think he's definitely up there for arguably number one, if not top two, because obviously you've got I'll give my credit to Victor Johansson. He also looks a really good keeper, but Iversen for me, like we already knew as Preston fans that he's capable of just doing the impossible. You know, he's capable of pulling out saves that you just didn't think your eyes would ever see before. I think for me as well, I think a lot of people tended to pick out his distribution, but for me, I think that's improved massively as well. So I think it's just, we can say it every week that he's just a joke of a goalkeeper, isn't he? And if it were up to me, he'd live forever and we'd never lose him. But yeah, he's definitely up there in the argument.
Joey, not the best performances against Bristol City, but still came out with a point thanks to Iversen, of course. Is that the worst you've played this season?
Yeah, probably. I think that and maybe the QPR game at the start of the season. I don't know what it was. I think it's probably because Bristol are a bit more high-pressing team themselves, so they sort of combated our sort of tactic, and I think we struggle against them and actually doing our sort of pressing counter-attack football. But yeah, it was pretty poor. I think players looking a bit tired at the moment, and I just don't think. I think we were very lucky, and I'm glad to be coming on here and saying we weren't on the wrong side of the defeat, because we should have been. But like I say, Daniel Iversen is probably one of the main reasons, and good solid defensive performance as well, to why we didn't somehow lose that game.
Yeah, solid defensively is what we've said many times already this season. Harvey says, Louise says, I'm glad Reese was pretty anonymous. Seemed a bit rattled playing us, to be honest. That tackle for the yellow was proof of that dirty get. What did you make of your ex-player's return?
Well, I was petrified, to be honest. I said it to my mate on the way there. I was like, if he scores, I will cry, because it was just nailed on. You were going to give it massive, give it the ears and everything. Yeah. I think we neutralised him very well. I think in the first 10 minutes, I think obviously when Bristol City looked really bright, I think he looked like he was, getting himself about a bit, trying to link up play with Twine and with Mehdi. But I think after that first 10 minutes, it very much neutralised him. Obviously, the Deepdale fans were giving him a fair bit of stick, to be honest. I stayed out of that because that's not my place. But I think obviously the tackle on Gibson is a bit of a bad one, to be honest. But you could see that he was clearly just his head had gone at that point. And like Louise said, I think we're just glad that we neutralised him, really.
Yeah, absolutely. A question on Dobbin, Joey, if that's all right, from Harvey himself, who's taken his tweet. Dobbin excites me and looks a threat, but he needs to know when to pass. He had a clear-cut chance into Millie. We could have been 1-0. He held onto the ball too long and never won the foul with the Whites. Yeah, has he got a point, this poster?
No, no, joking. I mean, he does. I think that's the sort of sacrifice you get, though, with players who have got that sort of bit of quality. They do like to think they can take on everyone, and yeah, sometimes he could release it earlier, but then I'd take it for the fact that we actually have a player who's quite exciting for once, and yeah, and the times when he, if he took on a few players and gets in, scores a screamer as he did the other week, then you forget about it, don't you? So, yeah, yeah. I think in general though, like I think our ball retention on Saturday wasn't good enough, and I think when you do have the ball, you don't want to lose it as easily as we did. And yeah, he was one of the players, but there was quite a few of them, to be fair, who were a bit sloppy on the ball on Saturday.
As I say, we've probably got the whole City result in the bag before people watch this. But I was surprised. Yeah, I was surprised, Harvey, to read from a Bristol City fan. He said, "I quite like Preston. Preston North End fans are always good lads, but Christ alive, your brand of football is agricultural," which is quite ironic coming from a Bristol City fan. I'd struggle to watch that week after week. I I've watched you quite a bit this season. I haven't found you to be agricultural. I've actually thought you've been playing some good football at times. Was that just a one-off in that Bristol City game, or are you noticing that it's becoming a little bit Hecky Bottom-like again?
Well, no, that's the beauty of football, isn't it? Obviously, every team requires a different kind of setup, if you will. Obviously, different teams like to play in different stages and tactics and all that jazz. I think I said it from the off. I think in that first half, especially, I think Bristol City were set up extremely well. I think they had such a high press and they boxed North End into their own halves, like for the majority of the first half. And that's why I think Preston looked so bleak, because with that shape and how well Bristol City did set up, it caused Preston to have a very lack of clear-cut chances. But yeah, like I said, it's a beauty of football. Obviously, you're not exactly going to turn up and be Barcelona every week, are you? But it's championship level. But at the end of the day, I think, like you said, we've seen some good performances. But we are only 6-7 games into a season, so my party's not out just yet. But I think we're fine.
Okay. Bro, also, if you're wondering why James is, we just want to wish send our congratulations to James, who became a father this weekend as well. So he's at home with his missus and all doing well. So congratulations, James. Right, Joey. Let's big week for Preston this week. Then we've got Hull, of course, as we've already mentioned. Then of course we go into the weekend against Charlton, which should be an interesting 0-0, given they don't score or concede many. And we've also got potentially the Zmajcevic hearing. We hear potentially the announcement could be made this week as well. I mean, we're hearing rumblings that he might be found guilty because of what the lip readers have been able to determine. If he is found guilty, what should happen to him on that basis?
Yeah, it's a tough one, because I mean the club obviously backed him, and Ridsdale's confident that he didn't say anything. So I suppose it's a bit like, then if he then is found guilty, do we actually follow through with what they've said, or do we follow through what we think and how we backed him so far? It's a tough one, because you don't want to be seen to be backing, and by that point he'll be convicted as a racist, I suppose. So yeah, they will actually become a difficult decision, I think, for the club, especially I think because we're a sort of very traditional family-run club. I think it makes it a bit more tougher. We've not got a sort of reputation as some clubs do in the division. So yeah, I won't want to be the board, to be honest with you. But also we know how valuable it is to us. So it could mean that the ban runs into around, probably gets to nearly January anyway. So it might be thinking, well, wait until his ban's done and then try and sell him to a Spanish club or something in January, and then start afresh with him. I think that's probably what would happen, actually. But yeah, I'm hoping he doesn't get found guilty.
Yeah, all right. Let's find out. We'll see. Hopefully this week. That was when. Speaking of boards, Harvey, Blackburn and Ipswich was called off last week because of the conditions at Ewood Park. The panel that decided what was going to happen on this had on it a Preston representative. However, the Preston representative abstained from voting on that replay decision. I want to put that to you, going, I understand a little bit that they might want to, given the neutrality with Blackburn Rovers, but on the other hand, if the shoe was on the other foot, would you not want, your AFL buddies, if you like, to stick up for you? I mean, where do you stand on this? Abstaining is weak.
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's one of them situations where, like, what can you do realistically? Because as you've got to think of the bigger picture, it would make absolutely no sense for two teams to play 10 minutes with one player. Do you know, like, because that game would probably have to be like behind closed doors, etc. Like, no atmosphere. That the situation is completely different. Obviously, they said they've dated it back to a fixture prior. I can't remember which one it was, but I think I can, don't get me wrong, I can completely understand like a frustration from a Blackburn point of view, 1-0 up and 10 minutes left with 10 men on the other team. But anything can happen in football. For all you know, Ipswich could have gone and equalised in that game. But like in terms of the board thing, it's I can kind of understand the frustration but that's because you're looking to get the result that you're wanting, if that makes sense. Like, and if that would, how do I explain? Like, if that was Ipswich in that scenario that had got the game called off, they were in Blackburn's position. They're then going to want answers why the thing's not gone in their way as well, because everybody wants that in football. It's a chance to get more points, and especially in a league as tough as the Championship, 3 points are vital, especially this early on. So I can see it from both points of view, but why they've abstained, I have no idea.
Okay, let us know in the comments as well. You think that's wise for Preston to not have got involved in that? I mean, you can understand it, I suppose, given that it is a fierce rival, if you like. Right, let's look at North End's then. So we talked about the fixture computer earlier on. Now, usually the fixture computer tries to be fair to clubs when it's midweek fixtures and tries to make sure they're not having too many journeys. So the 4 clubs that North End are going to have to visit, well, obviously play home and away over the midweek calendar are Hull, which is a journey and a half, Birmingham, Watford and Swansea, with the Coventry game thrown in there as well. I mean, I can't think, Joey, of much further that they could send. All the Portsmouth, maybe Southampton. I mean, I know you've got to play everybody twice, but where's the logic in sending North End to both ends of the country on a Tuesday night? I mean, there's not going to be many fans turning up to Swansea versus Preston on the 24th of February, is it? Let's be fair.
Yeah, I don't know if they would be even if it was a Saturday game, that one. But no, I mean, you like you say, you have to do it during the season. I think we've played Swansea a few times on a Tuesday, actually, from memory, and a few times in the capital. It's obviously it's not ideal, but I think we have to prepare for them sort of fixtures every season. So it's just one of those. I don't think it won't affect our preparations for the matches, I don't think. And yeah, it's a bit more disappointing for the fans, I think, than from the players. But
I know you've got to go somewhere, and someone's got to go.
Yeah,
to
exactly. And I think there's
got
not as many northern teams this year, is there? Like as there normally is.
You've got
I think that's
quite a lot in the Midlands, isn't there? Which you could pick on. But I just presume that the further you are away from it, it definitely has to become a weekend one. But
well, then some people like the local games being on the Saturday as well, especially like you want one Blackburn on the Tuesday night, so it's like where do you draw the line, isn't it?
All right. Also, Harvey, the EFL have been busy this week because they are suggesting that the playoffs could drop to 8th place from the next season onwards. I don't know about you, but I'm mixed on this. Is this ruining football for no reason, or is this North End's best chance of getting into the Premier League?
Well, yeah, from a Preston point of view, you'd be buzzing for it, wouldn't you? Because you think, Jesus Christ, if we can get enough points to get like 7th, then you've got a chance for the first time in 20 years. But I think it doesn't make. I am a bit mixed, like the same as you. It doesn't really make much sense. Like, I understand, obviously, giving teams a bit more of a fairer chance, but like at the end of the day, what is wrong with the current structure? Obviously, it's 2 teams automatics and 4 teams, and I think that's arguably fair because it just works. And for me personally, like as much as Mick's on it, I don't see why there's a need to change something that there's nothing wrong with.
Joey?
Yeah, I mean, I'm for it, obviously for obvious reasons. But I actually think Ridsdale are whatever you want to call him these days. He argued for the fact that it gives it a bit more people to play for by the end of the season, so there's no dead rubbers. And actually, one point he didn't raise, which I thought he would have done, is actually gives the league a bit more integrity as well towards the end of the season, because sometimes you've got a team in 14th place playing a team who are in the top 2 or in the bottom 3 sort of relegation battle, and they've got nothing to play for. And it doesn't always mean that they'll just throw the game or anything, but it'd be nice for everyone to sort of have something to play for, so that actually the integrity of the league at the end of the season's retained as well. So, yeah, I mean, I think it'd be something different. It'd be nice to just trial it and see if it works. But yeah, I can see I do like the playoffs. So more the playoffs is what I say.
Let us know your thoughts. Is this Preston's best chance to escape getting down to 8th? Finally, then, this week we are starting, the A to Z of Preston North End. I know I've not put the gap in between North and End before anybody writes in the comments. What is A4, though? If we look back at all the players of North End history, and the managers, and the owners, and the fans, it could even be a venue. It could even be a famous away performance. What does A stand for? Now, we asked AI this, and it came back with Powell Abbott. Hopefully, Harvey and Joey can maybe come up with something a little bit more contemporary, or you can in the comments, please. So surnames only, if that's possible. Joey?
I was going for first name, so I don't even know now.
Okay. Harvey, you got
one? Graham Alexander.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
That would have been mine then. I'm stealing Harvey's.
Definitely beats Powell Abbott, I think. In terms of contributions to Preston North End. Yeah. Any others? I mean,
could we do first names? Because obviously you've got like the shout about Alex Neil, best chance of playoffs in a long time.
We'll hold firm and say surnames only, shall we? But the academy, I think we need to shout out the Preston Academy. Some good young players have come through there. We talk about obviously, past and present as well. Away fans, anything beginning with A at all you can associate with North End.
Season at Ashton Gate last year.
Right, let us know in the comments. See if we can do better than we've done. Right, appreciate it. Right, enjoy your trip to Hull, you two. Safe travels, of course. There, we'll see you back after the Charlton game. Hopefully, there's no knee slides from their manager. You know what he's like. We'll see you on the other side of both of those. Have a great week, everyone. Thanks for watching.